page 73. It is a blank page. Okay, and we want to talk about the differences that we just saw in our nets. So we saw two different shapes, prisms and pyramids. Some of this is review from 6th grade. Prism, pyramid.
Does the line have to go straight to the middle?
It doesn't have to, no. We're not going to take up all the space. Okay, so prisms. Prisms look like this. Okay, these are two different prisms. What do you notice about this net?
It looks like a cross.
Okay, it looks like a cross.
If you were to fold it, it would become a square.
Makes a cube or a square. What shape is this mostly made of?
Squares.
Squares or rectangles, okay? This is also a prism. What is this mostly made up of?
Triangles and squares.
Okay, but mostly squares or rectangles, okay? So our first trait is that prisms are mostly rectangles. Okay, not completely, but mostly rectangles. Okay. Now this rectangle in particular, you practiced on your on that little game activity. Make sure that you are writing these notes in your blue notes. Everybody should be writing in their blue notes. Okay. So when we fold this up, we actually have two bases. Okay. So all prisms have two bases, and your bases are parallel. Okay. Parallel means what? Yeah.
Like the same?
Okay, they'll be the same, but they will never touch. Okay. So if I have this prism, okay, okay, could my left and right be my bases?
Yes.
Yeah, because are they ever going to touch?
No.
No. Could my top and bottom be the bases?
Yes.
Yes. Are they ever going to touch?
No.
No. Could my front and back be the bases? Yes. Okay. So when you have this shape, there's three different sets. It could be left, right, front, back, top, bottom, because they're parallel. Okay. Now I want you to notice it's going to be this one and this one. Okay. They always skip a box. These two are parallel, and then these two are parallel. Okay. So two bases that are parallel. So let's draw this real quick. I am not an artiste, so don't judge me. On this first one, we said we have a long strip in the middle with 4 rectangles. So just draw a long strip with 4 rectangles. And then we have to have 2 of the little flaps on the side. Now you saw when you were changing the patterns in that activity, do my flaps have to be right beside each other? Do they have to be across? No, when you move to a different pattern, it could be here or here or here. I'm going to put it here just because. Okay. And I'm going to call this my base. Okay. Now remember, it could have been this as the base, and it could have been this. Okay, I just want to go ahead and label them as my bases because that's going to help me in a minute. Okay. The other shape. This is the most missed shape every year in 7th and in 8th grade. So if you can get it now, you're going to get a lot more questions right than wrong. Okay. This is a long strip of what?
3 squares.
Okay, squares or rectangles. And then it has 2 triangles. Okay. And again, I can put my triangles wherever I want. I'm going to put them right here. Okay. So if I said a prism has to have 2 bases, do you think these 2 guys would be parallel? Okay. So when I have this and I fold these 2 up, what happens?
They touch.
So are they parallel?
No.
Are these 2 parallel? No, because they what? So what do you think the bases are?
2 triangles.
The triangles. Okay, this is the most missed shape every single year. I've been doing this for 7 years. Every single year, this is the most missed shape. Because you think, oh yeah, it's sitting on the bottom, and so that bottom is obviously going to be a rectangle, so that's the base. But if that bottom is a base, it better have one on top of it. And does it have one on top? No. Okay. Most missed shape. All right, now let's talk about pyramids. Okay. Here's a pyramid. What do you notice? What shapes is it? We're on page 73, David.
Mostly triangles.
Mostly triangles. The shape. What is it?
Mostly all triangles.
Okay, so what do you think about pyramids?
Mostly triangles.
Mostly triangles. Okay. Now when I fold my triangle up, okay, I fold it up, is there anywhere where there's going to be something parallel to each other? Or is everything touching? Everything is touching. So what you have to do is find the point, and your base is opposite the point. Okay, and how many bases is that? Just one. If I said this was the point, this could be the base. If I said this was the point, this could be the base. Okay, so it has only one base. Only one base, and it's going to be across from the point of the triangle, of the pyramid, sorry. Okay. So like this guy, again, there's the point of my triangle. What shape is opposite? So that would be a square pyramid. Okay. So let's draw these real quick. The first one's easy. Just draw a big triangle. And then we're going to make, draw a line there, and then make that into a triangle. And now you have 4 triangles. And then the center one's going to be my base. Okay. So that's what this one looks like. It's just one big triangle broken into 4 pieces. I fold these up. This one is opposite the point, so that is my base. Okay. Now the other one, our base was a rectangle, so draw a rectangle. And then each side is going to have a triangle. And we said our rectangle or our square was our base. Bless you. Everybody okay? All right. So when we're naming our shapes, we have to look at the base. Okay? We name them by base. So the first thing you do is you look at it. What shape is the base on this?
Square.
Okay, or a rectangle. So this is called a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism. On the test, you will have to look at a net and tell me what its name is. Okay, so it's a prism because it's mostly rectangles. It's rectangular because the base is a rectangle. Okay. This next picture, it's mostly rectangles, so it's a prism. What shape is the base? Triangle. So this is a triangular prism. Am I going too fast? Or are we okay? We're good? Okay, there's no math. This is just kind of vocab. All right. This one is all triangles. So that makes it a pyramid. What shape is the base?
Triangular pyramid.
Yep, this is a triangular pyramid. And then this guy is all triangles, mostly triangles, which means pyramid, but the base is a, so this is called a rectangular pyramid. Remember, tests and stuff are open notes, so if you have good notes, this is going to be helpful if you have a brain fart on the test, okay? All right, everybody okay with that? Pretty easy? Not too complicated? Okay, we're going to do a little bit more definitions, so turn to the next page. Intro to nets, okay? These are nets. The things that you played with and watched them turn, those are nets, okay? The faces are any of the surfaces. Any surface, okay? So that means every single side of this 3D shape, this is a face, okay? Faces. The bases of the 3D figure name the shape. A prism has two bases which are parallel, and which means they never touch. They never touch. Okay? Bases, parallel, two of them for prisms, they never touch. So if you look down here at this picture, what do you think the base is?
Rectangle.
It's this rectangle. So we want to label it with a B. This is my base. So what kind of pyramid is this? Rectangular pyramid. Okay, over here. Remember I said with rectangular prisms you have a little bit more freedom. What do you want the bases to be? There's 3 different sets. What do y'all want to pick?
Rectangle.
Top, bottom, side, front, back?
Bottom.
Okay. All right, I heard bottom first, so bottom. If I pick the bottom, what else has to be a base?
Top.
The top. Because prisms have how many bases?
2.
2. So if it doesn't come to a point, it better have 2 bases. Okay? If it doesn't come to a point, it has to have 2 bases. The next one, the vertex, is the point, the corner. So that means everywhere 2 lines meet, that's a vertex. That's a vertex. That's a vertex. Okay? It's just anywhere where 2 points come together, that's a vertex. Okay? You won't have to know that vocabulary word. And then the edge is called a line segment, and it joins the faces. Line segment. Okay. So we said this shape was a rectangular pyramid, and this shape is a rectangular what?
Prism.
Prism. Okay, how do we know it's a prism?
Because there are 2 bases.
Brandon, am I putting you to sleep? Okay. 2 bases, or mostly rectangles. Okay, I don't care how you memorize it. It doesn't matter to me, but those are the 2 different ways. Either check the number of bases or check the shapes. Okay? All right, a net is just a 2-dimensional composite figure. So I told you already know how to do this. We've been doing composite figures, so you already know how to do it. In 7th grade, surface area means no circles or trapezoids. So you just practice doing area of triangle and rectangle. Rectangle, triangle. Triangle, rectangle. It's super easy. When you fold it up, it makes a 3D object. Okay? This word is dimensional, but I figured y'all don't want to write that big word. Okay? A 3D object. So basically, here's a net, fold it up, makes a 3D shape. 3D means that I can put stuff inside, which is going to lead us to volume next. Okay, so that's a 3D shape. Okay, all right, if we look at these different nets, I want to know if they can be folded to make this cube. Okay, you might have to think about the little activity that we did where we moved them. This first one, could I fold this to make a cube?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This next one, could I fold it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the next one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I still have one on each side, yes. What about this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, because as I fold, I would still have stuff line up. What about this one?
No.
Why not?
Okay. So the bottom it flips over, so like it goes on and then it goes over, but it's symmetrical on both sides, so it would overlap and it wouldn't work.
And if I'm thinking like I'm building a gate to keep my dog in the fence, I'm going to have 2 doors on this side and I'm going to have no door on this side, which is not very smart because then my dog's going to escape. Okay. So this is the only one. So there's not like one way to draw your net or that you're going to see nets. Okay. Very good. Next page. All right. Let's take a moment. Let's decide prism or pyramid. First one.
Pyramid.
How do you know?
Because there's only one base.
Oh yeah,
Okay. There's only one base. How else do you know?
because it's mostly made out of triangles.
Mostly triangles. Good. Second shape, prism or pyramid?
Prism.
How do you know it's a prism?
It has 2 bases and it's mostly made up of rectangles.
Okay, mostly rectangles. Third one,
Pyramid.
Pyramid. There's only one
No,
base.
it's prism because it has 2 bases.
remember this is that one that I say is always the most missed. Just look, okay, this is a rectangle, triangle, triangle, and what's this back shape?
Doesn't it have 3 bases?
It's a rectangle.
So this is a rectangle. So there's 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. What is it made up mostly of?
Rectangles.
So that makes it a
Prism.
prism.
Doesn't it have 3 bases?
So it would have to have 3 of them that are parallel.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3.
Okay, where does that one go? Again, this is the most missed shape for a reason because it's tricky. Which of these are parallel when I fold it up? Do you see how these are not going to be parallel because they're touching?
Yeah.
And these are not parallel because they're touching? So the only thing that's parallel is these guys. Because when I fold it up, it has to touch.
Yeah, I just meant like that shape has 3 bases.
What do you think your 3 bases are? The triangles or the rectangles? Okay, but look, if I was to fold this, what happens to my rectangles?
They touch.
And bases have to be parallel. So if they touch, are they parallel?
No.
If they were like this, they would be parallel.
I'm not saying that they're, I'm just saying that like,
But if you're saying they're bases, they have to be parallel.
oh.
The only thing, bases, they're faces, but bases have to be parallel. They're the only things that are parallel. All right, let's go back and find our bases since we're talking about bases, and let's name these shapes. This is a pyramid, so here's my point. What shape is opposite my point?
The square.
The square or the rectangle, so I'm going to label it as a B. And I don't know for sure without numbers, so I'm just going to say rectangular. A square is a rectangle, so you won't get it wrong if you say rectangular. Okay? The next one, we said it's a prism, which means it has 2 bases. So what are my bases?
Top and bottom.
Okay, we can do top and bottom. Do we have to do top and bottom?
Nope. It could also be left and right.
Or back to front and back.
Okay, but there have to be how many?
2.
2. What shape are those bases?
Rectangles.
So what shape is this?
Rectangular prism.
Rectangular prism. Okay, see my other class, last period, they picked these. That's okay, they're not wrong. Okay, this is a rectangular prism. All right, and then finally, what are the bases for this guy?
Triangle.
Triangles. The most common missed shape. So if you miss this, don't get frustrated with yourself. You just got to learn it. Okay, this is the most common missed shape for a reason because everybody thinks it has to sit on its base. Okay, it doesn't have to sit on its base because this guy is not sitting on his base. If I turn it, he's sitting on his base, but they're not always sitting on their base, so you can't assume that. Okay, everybody okay? Yes? All right. So now let's come down here and let's match these nets. Okay? So, first picture, yes.
The first one is number 5.
Okay? So, first thing I want to do is talk about the base. What is the shape of the base? Triangle. Okay, again, the most missed shape. Okay? So, it has to be a triangular what?
Prism.
Why do we know it's a prism?
It
Because
has 2 bases.
Has 2 bases. And it's mostly,
Rectangles.
okay? So, this looks like number 5. Okay? So So first, ask yourself, mostly rectangles or mostly triangles? So if we're going down, it's mostly what?
Triangles.
Triangles, which makes it a
Triangular.
first pyramid or prism.
Pyramid.
Pyramid.
It's a pyramid first because it's mostly triangles. Pyramids have how many bases?
1.
1. I'm going to shade it. What shape is that?
A triangle.
So I'm looking for a triangular
Pyramid.
pyramid, which is what number?
6.
Number 8.
Ooh, which one? 6 or 8?
Number 8.
Okay. If you look at number 6, 6's base is what shape?
A square.
A rectangle.
A square or a
I
rectangle?
didn't see that.
8 is a what?
Yeah, I didn't see that first.
That's okay. I would rather you participate and be wrong than not participate. So because this has a triangle, then it's going to go here with this one. Okay. Hang on just a second. Give somebody else a chance. I don't want people to get frustrated because they feel like you're going too fast. All right. Next, in the middle, is it mostly rectangles or mostly triangles? It's mostly rectangles, which means prism. Prisms have how many bases? 2. So if I told you this was my base and this was my base, it is a rectangular prism, which is which one?
Number 7.
I'm going to shade these bases. This is number 7. All right. Next one. Has mostly what shape?
Triangles.
Triangles. Okay. What has mostly triangles?
A pyramid.
Pyramids. Okay. Pyramids, how many bases?
1.
1. So I know this is my base. And this one actually is a 6 by 6, which means it's a square pyramid. Normally we don't know, but if it tells me that 6 and 6 are the same, this one is a square pyramid. So which number matches a square pyramid?
Number 6.
Number 6. Good. This is my base. Okay. And then finally, this bottom one
Is a cuboid.
Yep. Okay. So they're all the same, which means it's a prism. And then my bases are rectangles or squares, which makes it a cube or a rectangular prism. They're the same thing. Okay. All right. Now you're going to get a chance to practice a little activity where you're going to practice naming the bases and naming the shapes.